So, hey guys, I'm here with Tyron Warne today. Tyron is from Johannesburg, South Africa. He joined Summit Sales Institute a couple of weeks ago. And over the last couple of weeks, he's gotten placed on an offer where he's been totally crushing it there. And so I want to have a chat with Tyron, just find out how things have been going so far in terms of his journey as a beginner in the online space, especially in remote sales, what he's learned over the last couple of weeks and how that's actually translated to him actually earning an income and working something that he genuinely enjoys doing. But I'm going to leave it to Tyron. Tyron, why don't you start us off by telling us who you are and where you're from?
My name is Tyron Warne. I am from the Vaal, which is just south of Joburg, actually. Yeah, I joined 6 weeks ago, about 6 weeks ago, and then I am very new to the online space. It is my first offer. I knew nothing about it, completely new to setting. I had no experience, and since then it's been a breeze. I won't lie. It's been very easy working with Summit Sales. They are very professional, and yeah, I mean that's pretty much a little bit about where my journey started in the online space.
Yeah, tell us a bit about what you were doing before Summit Sales or before remote sales.
So I left school and I got into golf, played golf for a couple of years, and then that didn't work out. To put it briefly, I went into doing some sales within the pro shop. While I was doing that, then I moved to a cattle feedlot that my dad used to own. I managed that for about a year. And then after that, my mates and myself opened a alcohol brand. We were selling tot packs and like small 100 ml bottles. And then from there, I moved into the aviation space, family business, where I helped my dad with all his online stuff, more the IT web, like the website, his stuff with SARS and change of ownership, etc. And then I looked into online sales because I had a friend doing that, and here I am.
Yeah, and like what prompted you to make that move? What was the interest specifically with remote sales?
The thing that stood up most for me was the remote part. I don't have to be bound to a certain location. If I got internet connection, I can go on holiday and I can still work, earn money. And of course, the earning of dollars is really nice, especially in South Africa. I mean, those of you from here, our rand is pretty weak, so earning in dollars makes a big difference.
Yeah, especially of late, like the standard of living is just a bit difficult if I suppose you're earning in rands,
Yeah.
unless you're doing a job like a doctor or an accountant. But I think for a lot of people, that's why they come into something like remote sales. And how easy was it for you to make the transition into remote sales?
Very easy, to be quite honest. It came so quick. I spoke to my one friend, like I mentioned, he's in the online space. He was like, yo, I can put you in contact with someone I know. That's someone being Sam. Sam and I got into contact. We started chatting. He asked me for a Loom video. I sent him a Loom video early Friday morning, like 1 a.m. Sam was still awake, of course. He never sleeps like me. And then I thought, okay, this is probably going to take like a week or so. We chatted throughout the whole weekend, which I found very new or strange because most companies are like, nah, it's weekend, I'm not going to work. Sam worked the whole weekend with onboarding me. By Monday evening, he had me placed on an offer. So it really took me about 4 days after I'd sent my CV or Loom video, whatever you want to call it. And then I got placed onto the offer and we pretty much started straight away.
Yeah, you're part of the luckier group of people that have been placed in the last, I'd say, maybe 2 months.
Yeah.
Before our placement times used to take, I think, about 3 months. That was when there were a limited amount of offers available. But fortunately, I think the last 3 to 6 months, there's been way more offers than we have had students. But yeah, you're definitely part of the luckier crowd. And who was your friend that you find out from?
Tim Patton, I met him in Belito quite a while ago, and he's studying now in Stellenbosch slash working. I don't even think he studies anymore because he's crushing it on the online space. So yeah, he's known Sam for quite a while, as far as I remember, and he put me in contact with you. I mean, yeah, yeah, we are.
Yeah, I love how you keep referring to me as Sam as if I'm not on this call. It's
I
a
know, I
third
know, I
person.
know. It's for the people who are watching. Yeah,
Yeah, no, Tim was actually one of my first students. I always say that he was one of the first people that I actually recruited onto an offer, particularly the offer. He's on quite a solid one. He works with Iman Gaji's team over at consulting.com. And so, yeah, I'm really glad he sent you over because you remind me quite a lot about him in terms of just your work ethic and overall drive.
appreciate that. Yeah, no, it's Tim and I. We clicked instantly, like the day I met him, we clicked and I was chatted to him a bit about it in the past, but I never really thought about the online space, hadn't looked into it. And then after one of my other friends started doing it themselves, they went through a whole bunch of different options and whatever. It took a lot longer than what I experienced. I thought, damn, this is like quick, easy. Let me get into it. And yeah, but that's all thanks to you, Sam.
Yeah, no, I'm glad it's been a great experience so far. Tell me a bit about that, but like, did you have any doubts before joining? Like when you were considering it, looking into it, was there anything that perhaps was making you doubt that this would be a good fit for you and if it would work out? Did you at any point maybe think you'd be like your other friends, kind of taking that long, arduous journey of getting into the space?
I mean, I wasn't sure, so I was looking into quite a few options before I started talking to you, or like same time. I even mentioned to you, yo,
You
should I?
you you submitted your Loom video, which is like an application for us, and then you also sent me another application like, should I submit here? And I remember thinking, but you just
Yeah,
applied with us.
literally, I even asked you, I was like, should I submit my Loom video to Rep Select and a whole bunch of other places? You're like, no, man, sure, like I got this. And then literally within 4 days, you were like, yo, I got you an offer. I told my other mates, Tim was like, how's it going? I was like, dude, I'm on an offer already. He asked me about a week later. He's like, damn, that was fast. I was like, yeah. So it was quick. It was quick. But speaking about doubts, the only doubts I really had were the numbers. Like I saw, within your first month, you can earn anything from like $1,000 to $5,000 within your first 6 months. I was like, damn, like that's big numbers coming into South Africa. I mean, that's 80, 90K, which you need to be a doctor or like a top accountant, study for 3 years, do your honors, articles, all that before you're earning that. I was like, I can do this within 6 months. Like, that's crazy. So that was probably the only doubt I had because I'm a pretty fast learner and I enjoy talking to people. So the setting part, I didn't think would be such an issue, but we have our stumbles along the way, if I could call it like that, like found things that I needed to work on more than others. And yeah, we have overcome some of them. Obviously, we learn new things every day. But yeah, that was my only doubt I could really say.
So you're saying for yourself, your biggest doubts or concerns was like this notion that you can make like 80,000 Rand to 90,000 Rand a month at like beginning. That's something that kind of stood out to you.
Yeah.
Is there anything that maybe almost stopped you from taking action on this route at any point?
Not really. I had so much free time. So, and I saw this as a good opportunity. I mean, I heard it firsthand from Tim. He was like, bro, trust me, it's really worth it. Like, you can. And then obviously I spoke to you and you're like, people are earning this. Like, if you crush it and you actually put in the work and do the dials and whatever, you can earn this amount of money. So yeah, I wouldn't say there was any point where I was like, nah, this is not for me, or no, I'm not going to move forward from this. When I got the offer, I was like so excited and like wanted to jump straight in.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of jumping straight in, how's that experience been? Like, tell us or take us through the journey of like going from like what happened when you got reached out to and taking the next steps. Like, how was that whole process?
So I got onboarded onto the offer, and then from there we jumped straight into training. We had training with you, and then with Ravina, who's on my team, and then of course Jamil, another. He's a professional in cold calling, which isn't exactly what we do because we got inbound leads, which is very nice. Yeah, we did training with Jamil for 2 weeks, literally from the beginning. He ran his whole process through with us from the beginning to the end. We did mock calls. We did like call reviews on our, if I could call it our mock calls. And then, yeah, he'd come in every day, jump onto Zoom, run us through the process. It was super easy, like very, very professional. It was a lot more than I was expecting because I'd also heard from like some of my mates, they're like, yeah, you jump onto an offer, they throw you in the deep end. Like, you just got to figure it out yourself. Like, with my offer and my experience with you guys at Summit Sales, it's so professional. They run you through everything. They teach you how to do everything so that you don't like mess up or have to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, I love to hear that. Thanks for sharing that. But yeah, I mean, that is the experience I think for most people. And I can tell you from firsthand
Yeah.
experience. But like in my first offer, I pretty much had to figure so much for myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, that's what we strive to do to make sure that everyone that we've got on has as much support as possible.
Mm.
In terms of the specific skills that you've developed over the last couple of weeks, what would you say has been the best skill or the hardest that you've had to earn?
The hardest, my tonality. I was very monotone on my calls. I would phone people and I would go and listen to my own recordings, especially when we were doing call reviews. And I'd sit there like, bro, you actually sound like you in your deathbed.
By any chance opt into a webinar with regards to learning how to sell on Amazon?
It was so monotone and everything. So that's something that I had to work on quite hard, like pay close attention to it.
I
But
remember at one point we had your calls on 1.5x speed when we were doing call reviews. And I
Yeah.
remember once leaning into my computer and wondering, is this on 1.5x or is it on normal? Only to realize it was on 1.5x, which meant we were talking like extremely slowly.
Yeah. Yeah, so we overcame that. But that was probably the hardest thing for me was the like how monotone I was and changing tonality. But Sam, you really did help me a lot with that. Like we focused hard on that. I remember I used to chat to you, like just give you a call, be like, bro, I'm struggling. Like, what do I do? And you're like, just like smile. And you can even like when you're smiling and talking, you can hear that you're smiling. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
stuff
all
like
the
that.
little
Just
things that make a difference.
yeah, it's all small things that make such a big difference. But yeah, other than that, I don't think I found anything too hard. Of course, the process of like just calling random people in the beginning, I was like, yeah, now I need to like dial people I don't know, you're not expecting anything. But the nice thing with my offer is it's all warm leads. So 95% of them are so nice to talk to. They're willing to talk to you. If they don't have time, they're like, yo, call me back at this time, I'll be free. But yeah, other
Yeah.
than that,
Yeah. Tell us a bit about the offer. That's one thing I realized we haven't spoken a bit about, but tell us a bit about the offer.
like, do you want to know what the offer, like what we sell or what
I
about the offer?
I
Like
I know
our
I know a
fee?
lot about the offer. I want you to tell us a bit
Yeah.
about the offer. Like, just what is it in general? What are you working on specifically on that offer?
So I'm a setter. So I set up calls with our closers. And yeah, our offer is a digital product. We mentor people in how to actually start an Amazon business. So we will go run through the whole process with them from A to Z. We will help them set up LLCs, we'll help them set up their store and show them how to do it. We will put them into contact with suppliers, get them brand deals, get them certified to sell on Amazon. And then our offer has its own prep house so that our students or clients, whatever you want to call it, they don't have to hold inventory. They literally send the inventory from the supplier to a prep house. It goes from the prep house to Amazon and they take care of delivery. So they can also, what's nice about that is we've got lots of people who are trying to transition out of their jobs. They come in and we help them gain financial freedom by teaching them how to sell on Amazon. And they can also do it anywhere in the world as long as they have internet connection.
Nice, nice. And how big is the team size? Both
Yeah.
the whole team as well as the setter team.
So our setter team, we five setters who call and DM, like not DM text, and then we got one DM setter on Instagram. So we got six setters in total. And then the team itself, damn, we've got probably 15 closers right now.
You guys are a big offer. Last I checked, you're making like a million in revenue monthly.
Yeah, we doing about 1 million at the moment. We aiming for 2 million. We've got a new sales manager on board now who is changing quite a few things that are helping. But yeah, our team's big. We've got other sales managers, we've got tech people, we've got obviously our CEO Stamar himself. So I'm guessing our team probably around 50, 60 people, somewhere around there.
Yeah, a big, solid offer, I'd say. And
Yeah.
in your first 3 weeks, because I know you did like 1 week of training where it was just myself, Jamil, and Ravina and Justin
Yeah.
training you and the other sitters that were coming on. That was about a week of training, and then you guys actually started actually taking calls. But in that first couple of weeks of taking calls, how much were you able to generate in that first 3 weeks?
So I started off slow. I had like really shitty sets within my first week. So
Welcome to the club.
none of them closed, but I also think that was part of like my learning process, my follow-up process, making sure they actually attended the meeting. So I had a lot of no-shows. Um, and then I got my first close within the second week of actually starting my calls and everything. And then that was closer to, so nice thing about my offer is we get paid twice a month. We don't get paid at the end of the
Nice.
month. We get paid in the middle of the month and then end of the month. So that was after the 15th. And then it was 13 days till payday. And from there, I got six closes. And that generated 1,500 for me and 30K cash collected for the company itself.
Nice.
So yeah, it was pretty solid first 2 weeks, I would say.
Nice. I remember when we were on a call and I was asking you what your total cash collected, and we started calculating it and figuring it out. And when I
Yeah.
realized the commission you made for that month and even just your overall total cash collected, I was like, do you realize that for most setters, like this is typically what they make for like months on end? And this is your first 3 weeks in setting. And this is
Yeah.
literally your first paycheck in setting. And that was what most setters will uh, typically grow into, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, we even met with Edgar the other day. This is another thing about Sam. This is in his own time. He's like, yo, I know a really good setter. I'm gonna put you guys in a Zoom meeting with him, and you are free to ask him questions just to sharpen our knowledge and to better our skills. We spoke to him. He's doing 15K now as a setter a month on like most of his months. And we asked him, what was your total cash collected, or not cash collected? How much did you actually make on
His
your
first
first month?
commission, yeah.
He was like $700. I was like, damn, okay, maybe I'm not doing so badly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it takes sometimes. It takes perspective. I actually love
yeah,
doing that. I love connecting the setters that I work with and train with other setters because it just opens your mind. One of the reasons I'm sure you remember, one of the reasons I actually even brought Edgar on is because you guys had one particular problems you were struggling with, and I was like, I need someone else that's not me to come and tell you guys that this problem is like everywhere, not just with you guys.
yeah. And that problem
Yeah,
was Sam told us you've been telling us for I don't know how long, since we came onto the offer. You're like, guys, in these offers, volume is key. If you have volume, you make more money. And literally word for word, what you have been telling us since the beginning, Edgar told us in that meeting. You even stopped him at a point and you're like, yo, please tell these setters, like, we did not meet and I did not ask you to say these kind of things. It was literally word for word
I
what you've been telling
I
us.
I had to do that at least twice because he was repeating so many things that I tell you guys, and he was
Yeah,
like using the exact same phrases. And I was like, okay, I have to tell these guys that I didn't actually prep Edgar for this call. He just literally is saying what, as I always like. I'm sure you
yeah,
know, like I say, elite setters. So elite
yeah,
setters, as opposed to setters who don't get to that level of earning or don't get to the types of offers that you guys get to work on. They just have a
yeah.
completely different way of thinking, and obviously Edgar's one of them, and you guys are in the process of becoming one of those.
Yeah, hopefully that's the plan, eh? But I mean, Yaring from where he started to where he is now, I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So I'm curious, but like obviously prior to getting into remote sales, you were doing all of the different things that you mentioned, working with your dad, helping out on the admin and the finance side and all of the different factors. But like, how has your life changed since? And I know it's still very early on in your
yeah.
journey, but like, what's been the major differences for you in your day-to-day life? Are there aspects of it that you're enjoying? Are there aspects that you're not enjoying? Curious. Yeah.
Um, the biggest thing is the time difference. My time I'm working is obviously American time zone, so that's a little bit different. I've had to switch things around. I used to gym in the evenings. Now I got to gym really early in the morning, which is my evening now. So I'll sleep in the morning, but then I still do work with dad. I'll wake up, do the work for dad, and then I'll jump onto this. But the main thing that's also changed is I don't have to go into office as much anymore, especially because the stuff I need to do with my dad is online. So I've got more time at home with the family. I still stay at home. I'm very blessed to still be at home. Got my brother here, who's my best friend. He's only going to be here for maybe another 2 years max because man's planning on getting married. But yeah, the biggest change is probably the time difference, I would say.
Yeah. And what do the people around you say, like your family and even friends, like with this new lifestyle that you're experiencing in terms of remote sales? I know it's bizarre for some people.
Yeah, I spoke to my cousin the other day and I was like, yo, you want to get into sales? It's like, and he's like, nah, I got stuff to do in the day. Like, I can't work at night type of thing. I was like, I mean, if you really want to, you can make it work. But then I was also talking to one of my friends. They were like, yo, bro, did you get a girlfriend? Because you're so quiet these days. I was like, bro, like, no, I'm locked in, I'm working and I go to gym. So yeah, it's just a mindset change and I'm enjoying it. Like, even my mom and dad are like, you working so many hours. I was like, yeah, but that's by choice. I don't have to. It's
Yeah,
just
I
I
mean,
enjoy what I do.
I heard that from some of your team members. I was on a call with one of them, and they were like, "You're arguably the hottest worker in the team." And like, obviously, I think most people know, but like remote sales, one of the aspects of it is a little bit of freedom. You
Yeah,
can do the work from anywhere. Realistically, you could
yeah,
pick up your laptop, work from a coffee shop. You can take time off during the weekends, but you're literally out here working Monday to Sunday some weeks,
yeah.
and literally I don't know your hours, but I know that you're up till very, very late. What's the reason for you?
The reason I'm working so many hours, um, like you mentioned to us, you even said to us the once you're like, if you want to become a manager in a specific field in the real world, if I can put it like that, if you join a corporate company, before becoming a manager, you got to work there for 10, 15, 20 years. You can do that within 6 months to a year within the online space. So I'm just trying to obviously learn setting as much as I can. And I know the more volume I do, the better you get at it. And then, of course, like you mentioned, the more volume you do, the more closes you get. So the more money you make. It's that thing. And also, it's a thing of scaling. If you put in the work now, I mean, the more you earn now, the more you can relax later on, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Good Good points. And what's it felt like for you to earn in US dollars as a South African?
It's been very nice. I won't lie. It's like I speak to some people who went to varsity, they studied for 3 years, did articles. After like 5 years, call it off studying, whatever, they're earning what I'm earning already. I've been on the offer for 6 weeks. So yeah, the exchange rate's nice. I like to hold my dollars and wait for the rand to get a bit stronger.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
The dollar to get stronger. The rand must get weak. Yeah, the rand to get weaker and then obviously withdraw.
Yeah, yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And
Um,
just a couple of questions out of curiosity, but if
yeah.
you were to talk to someone who is considering getting into remote sales, potentially joining Summit Sales and going through Summit Sales, and maybe they were on the fence about it, what would you share with them to help them make that decision?
I would firstly tell them you guys are very professional and you can see what you guys do. You really enjoy it. You love what you do. You love working with people. It's an easy process. It's easy to learn with you guys. Like you teach us everything that we need to know. And I'll also bring up the financial side of things. I'll be like, yo, do you want to go work here and earn rands and work 3, 4, 5 months and earn what you can be earning in 1 month? So I guess that would probably be a deal breaker. And I mean, when you tell most people, yo, you can earn a lot more online and freedom, of course. I'll be like, yo, I'm going to Mozambique. They're like, bro, it's the middle of March. Like, why are you going to Mozambique? Be like, because I just need internet connection and I can work and I'm still earning dollars. So yeah, the
Yeah,
remote side of things is probably my favorite.
yeah, that reminds me when you sent one of your sales managers a message saying you wouldn't be able to do calls that day. And you were wondering like how you should phrase it and whatnot. And I was like, just tell her you're taking a flight.
Yeah, literally. That's what's nice about the online space. I mean, you can work 7 days a week if you want to. If you want to take a day off, it's fine. Like it's not bound to, it's not a 9 to 5 where you gotta take sick leave or you only get 20 days of leave a year type of thing. That's also another deal breaker, which was quite nice for me. I mean, if someone's asking why they should join, you bring that up as well.
Yeah. And can a complete beginner do this?
100%. I was completely new to online sales. I knew nothing about setting. Had never done cold calling or inbound calls in my life. Like I dealt with salespeople who were interested in stuff, but I didn't know anything about the online space and anything of that nature. So yeah, if you're a complete beginner, I would say join. Specifically with my offer, they only wanted beginners. Like I remember you were telling us, you said, yeah, I had a couple guys, they've got like 2 years experience. You sent their Loom videos, and then Ravina was like, yo, I want new guys. Like I don't want these experienced people. And yeah, so if you're a complete beginner, you can definitely do this.
Yeah, so great to have this chat with you, Tyron. It's only been a couple of weeks, literally from
Wow.
beginner to a winner in remote sales in a couple of weeks. Looking forward to where you're going to be in literally a matter of 6 months plus. And hopefully at that point, we'll be having a totally different conversation, talking about what the next level is from there.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, thanks for the time and for all the help along the way. I'm sure we're still going to be working a lot together. And yeah, let's scale up from here.
100%.